Theater communities are abuzz with intense chatter over a leaked security camera video from an EVITA rehearsal that appears to show Rachel Zegler, the production's leading star, being forcibly escorted off the stage. The footage, which has rapidly circulated among key figures in the industry, depicts what seems to be a highly charged confrontation. In the clip, security personnel can be seen approaching Zegler from both sides before quietly but firmly leading her away, while the rest of the cast and crew remain frozen in stunned, almost eerie silence. What makes this footage particularly powerful is the way everything just stops. The music cuts out, no one moves, and an uneasy stillness fills the room. According to sources close to the production, this wasn't part of any dramatic rehearsal technique or stylized staging. It was, in fact, the dramatic climax of what insiders describe as several weeks of growing tension between Zegler and the creative leadership. The incident represents a dramatic and unexpected shift for Zegler, who, at the beginning of the project, had been openly thrilled about portraying the iconic Eva Peron. In early press interviews, Rachel practically glowed with enthusiasm. "Yeah, well, we're incredibly busy, of course. EVITA is opening at the Palladium this summer, and we're working once again with Jamie Lloyd after Sunset Boulevard," she said. Rachel was desperate to play Eva Peron. It was her idea. In those days, she spoke about the role with reverence, calling it transformative, life-changing, and culturally meaningful. Her social media platforms were overflowing with enthusiastic behind-the-scenes content, emotional tributes to Eva's legacy, and the occasional tearful reflection about the responsibility of telling such a powerful story. For a time, the narrative around this production and Zegler's involvement felt like a redemptive arc. It looked like EVITA might become a career-defining moment, possibly even allowing Zegler to shift focus from past controversies. The media welcomed her casting. Fans celebrated it. There was palpable excitement in the air. But somewhere along the way, the mood darkened. Slowly but unmistakably, the tone of Zegler's online presence began to change. The joyful, vibrant posts vanished, replaced with cryptic musings and stretches of silence. According to sources with insider access, Zegler began to privately describe the rehearsal environment as unsafe and emotionally hostile. In leaked private messages that later surfaced on fan accounts, she reportedly used language like creatively gaslit to describe her experience. The same collaboration she once championed, she allegedly began to characterize as controlling and suffocating. Some close to the production, however, claim that the core issue wasn't toxicity, but rather mismatched expectations. Zegler may have struggled with the realization that EVITA was not designed to spotlight a single performer in isolation. It required precise ensemble work, relentless rehearsal pacing, and synchronized energy. When creative tensions arose and whispers began leaking to the press, her team reportedly scrambled to spin the narrative, shifting into crisis management mode. To longtime industry observers, this pattern felt oddly familiar. They pointed to past instances such as Snow White and Shazam, Fury of the Gods, where Zegler enthusiastically joined projects, only to later appear disillusioned when the creative or commercial outcomes grew complicated. What's different this time, however, is the number of people swept into the drama. Fellow cast members, crew, and producers were directly affected as the situation grew increasingly public. From the very start of rehearsals, some insiders say the warning signs were visible. Zegler reportedly showed up late on multiple occasions, each time offering different reasons. She frequently questioned direction from Jamie Lloyd, proposed her own blocking, and even made unauthorized changes to choreography. One lighting technician allegedly remarked that every cue became a negotiation. Meanwhile, Lloyd found himself more involved in emotional mediation than in refining the production. As the environment grew strained, the cast adapted in troubling ways. Ensemble members began requesting to be placed away from Zegler on stage. The audio team made subtle tweaks to account for her unplanned vocal improvisations. The atmosphere reportedly grew fragmented, far from the collaborative spirit essential to live theater. Then came the breaking point, a full run-through attended by major producers and financial backers. Just minutes in, Zegler allegedly stopped the performance to complain about lighting, costuming, and the overall color palette. While the tech team rushed to resolve her grievances, they discovered she had already left the theater without informing anyone. This pattern allegedly repeated itself multiple times, creating a situation so tense that Lloyd eventually ceased all direct communication with Zegler. Notes and feedback were relayed through stage managers and assistants, an unprecedented breakdown of director-actor collaboration. collaboration. Behind the scenes, the production team reportedly shifted gears. Creative planning gave way to damage control. Legal advisors were consulted about Zegler's contract. Understudy rehearsals were quietly ramped up. The once vibrant rehearsal space began to feel sterile and joyless. People showed up, did the bare minimum, and left, unsure whether the show would even open. Word traveled fast. London's West End might be globally renowned, but inside, it operates like a small town. Reputation is everything. Casting agents began exchanging uneasy messages about Zegler, not questioning her talent, but flagging her perceived instability. Some agencies began reviewing her previous projects with new scrutiny. What once seemed like isolated PR hiccups now appeared as a pattern. Missed interviews, polarizing statements, abrasive social media moments. A casting assistant allegedly remarked, "She's not blacklisted, but she's definitely on watch." In one recent Broadway casting meeting, sources say her name was brought up only to be met with awkward silence. No one wanted to assume the risk. Even more tellingly, aspiring performers who once cited Zegler as an idol reportedly began distancing themselves. Vocal coaches have allegedly started using her trajectory as a cautionary tale. While Zegler hasn't stayed silent, she hasn't directly addressed the controversy either. Much like during the Snow White backlash, her response has come in the form of poetic, emotionally laced social media posts, messages about holding space, healing in chaos, and choosing grace in unsafe places. Her loyal fans interpret these as affirmations of strength. Industry professionals, however, are left frustrated, craving accountability and clarity. This approach, recasting professional disputes as broader cultural narratives around empowerment, has in the past allowed Zegler to sidestep harsh criticism, but this time, the stakes are higher. EVITA isn't just another role. It's a high-stakes, high-investment theatrical endeavor. Production delays, lost money, and strained collaborations aren't easily brushed off with a well-worded Instagram caption. There's no denying Zegler's talent. Plucked from obscurity by Steven Spielberg for West Side Story, her debut was nothing short of dazzling. Critics praised her emotional depth, her rich voice, her magnetic screen presence, but the trajectory since then has been uneven. Shazam! Fury of the Gods failed to make a box office splash, and her comments about accepting the role purely for the paycheck alienated many. During Snow White promotions, her remarks about the original film being creepy and the prince being useless drew fierce backlash from Disney's core audience. EVITA was meant to be her homecoming, a return to her theatrical roots, and a showcase of her vocal brilliance. Instead, it's become another chapter in an increasingly troubling story about artistic collaboration and emotional volatility. According to reports, Zegler's team is now urging her to take a step back, refocusing her career on smaller, less visible projects. The proposed strategy includes roles in independent films, work with veteran directors known for nurturing talent, and limited press exposure. The aim is simple: rebuild trust. In the entertainment industry, talent may get your foot in the door, but it's reputation that keeps you employed. And in live theater, where there's no editing, no second takes, and no safety net, trust is everything. When that trust erodes, especially between a director and their lead, the entire production suffers. The EVITA situation escalated fast, from subtle signs to full-scale crisis. What began as occasional lateness and creative disagreements reportedly snowballed into a total breakdown in communication. The fact that director Jamie Lloyd stopped speaking to his star entirely, relying instead on intermediaries, is nothing short of astonishing. From the outside, fans and critics interpret this story very differently. Zegler's supporters see a courageous young woman standing up to outdated power structures. Industry insiders see warning signs of unprofessional behavior that endangers productions. The leaked video showing security removing her from rehearsal has only deepened this divide. This moment in Zegler's career speaks to larger shifts in how young performers navigate fame, power, and pressure. Her lyrical, emotionally driven responses may galvanize fans, but they don't resolve contractual obligations or production disruptions. What happens next is critical. Some insiders believe Zegler could benefit from a deliberate reset, time away from high-pressure roles with a focus on growth and reflection. Others worry that reputational damage may take years to undo. At just 23, she still has time to learn, time to mature, time to reshape her story. But in an industry where emotional composure and dependability matter as much as raw talent, the question isn't just whether she can sing or act, it's whether others can rely on her. To do so consistently, theater in particular demands vulnerability, cooperation, and trust in real time. When that trust breaks down, the consequences are immediate and severe. What makes the EVITA controversy so compelling isn't just the drama, it's the tension between extraordinary promise and the professional discipline required to fulfill it.